I've always had an inflated ego, but have been able to tone it down over the last few years. I've learned not to brag nearly as much, but I can't help but feel like I'm a phenom. So how do you both say so humble, and is it worth it to ever acknowledge your excellence or superiority?
There's nothing that I'm an expert at. Thinking that you're awesome can give off the vibes of insecurity. People that are truly kick-ass, they don't walk around like they're kick-ass, they just are. This is the Jocko Underground Podcast, number 168, sitting here with Echo Charles. Going to address some issues from the troopers out there in the world. What do we got? Let's go.
First question, Jocko. Good evening. I'm 29 years old and work as a wildlife control operator. Last year, I was honored by our parent company having made to the top 2% of employees nationwide.
Check.
Paid trip to the Bahamas with ceremony and all. Yeah. Even got a +1. Okay. I'm also rather good at woodworking, lifting, hell yeah, running, hunting, shooting, archery, fishing, and guitar, among other things, and to varying degrees. I also just recently started training jiu-jitsu, and I'm a proud Jocko white belt.
Get so.
Hell yeah. Jocko, you are a retired SEAL Lieutenant Commander, third degree black belt, probably more than that, right? Technically, you don't go by degrees. Okay, all right. We'll say black belt in jiu-jitsu, an extremely successful entrepreneur, world-renowned leader, fantastic podcast host, have a wonderful family, and even know your way around the Git box yourself. Echo, your jiu-jitsu black belt, maybe first degree now. We don't do degrees, as we said. Press record like no other. Thank you. Have incredible technological abilities. Also have a wonderful family. Have built friendships most of us can only dream of, and are absolute beasts. Okay. My point is, both of you, and I like to think myself as well, are way above average. I've always had an inflated ego, but have been able to tone it down over the last few years. I know there is someone out there who's better than me at every individual thing I do, but as a whole, I feel I'm rather hard to beat. I do acknowledge that some individuals like yourselves, at least in my eyes, are better and more successful. But I've always wondered how exactly you both can be so humble. I've learned not to brag nearly as much, and even downplay my own strengths. But I can't help but feel like I'm a phenom. Yeah. My question is this: how do you both say so humble, and is it worth it to ever acknowledge your excellence or superiority? Thank you both for everything.
Is this a troll question? Go ahead. Continue. Sorry.
Okay. Before I read this last part, I kind of respect the delivery because it's honest, you know, you know how you have thoughts in your head sometimes, and then I don't know, maybe I'm alone on this one, but
I have no thoughts in my head.
You have thoughts in your head sometimes, and then you say it out loud, and you're like, bro, that didn't sound right. And then you try to say it correctly, and you're like, wait, no, that's literally what I meant. It just sounds bad coming out, so I'm glad I said it. It's like you got to send these thoughts out to the world and see what comes back. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Otherwise, you don't realize how crazy it's. I'm not saying that this sounds crazy, but I'm just saying, put it this way. It seems like him writing this and how it's landing on us are two different things, we'll say. Yeah, that's what it seems like right now. Okay. Thank you both for everything. I know there are many people who directly make my success a possibility, including yourselves. I would not be where I am without my parents, family, and this podcast. Keep getting after it. I hope to meet and hopefully roll with you gents one day.
Yeah, you know what's weird too is just in the same vein as, you know, you saying like, oh, I say something, it doesn't quite sound. A lot of times people will literally be asking me a question, and by the time they're done asking me the question, they're like, oh, I already know the answer.
Oh, yeah.
I should do this.
Yeah, me.
Yeah.
All day.
Yeah. So verbalizing something sometimes provides clarity in your own mind. Writing something definitely will provide clarity in your own mind. Although I would say you have to write it, but I think you actually have to say it. Like the way it sounds going into your ears is different than the way it is on paper.
Yeah.
Which I've never noted that until right now. The closest I've come to noting that is I've said before that I've read books in preparation for the podcast, and been like, oh yeah, this is a cool, like solid, this is an emotional part of the book. But, you know, I wasn't like moved by it. And then reading it aloud and hearing it, been like very caught up in the emotions and the power of whatever I'm reading. So I believe that the verbalized word is stronger and lands with more weight than the written word. So with that in mind, hopefully us reading this out loud, you're like, ooh, that does sound a little bit, you know, a little bit like egotistical, right? Yeah. Which he shouldn't be surprised by that, because he says, I've always had an inflated ego. And by the way, at the end, he says, thank you both for everything. I know there's many people who, oh, did you read that part?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So when the question is like, how do I stay humble? For me, it's pretty easy to stay humble. I pretty much am not good at jiu-jitsu. I'm not good at guitar. I'm not good at running. I'm not that strong. I'm not really good at hunting. I'm not that good at building businesses. I'm not that good at surfing, and I'm not really that, like, there's nothing that I'm an expert at, right? And even just to put that in a very plain way, there's people that are better than me at everything that I just said, right? All these things that I care about, like I care about jiu-jitsu, I get my ass kicked all the time in jiu-jitsu. I care about guitar, I suck at guitar. I care about being fast, I'm slow. I care about lifting, I'm not strong. I care about hunting, but I'm not good at it. You know, like there's people that are just way better at all this stuff than I am. And I'm not like horrible at any of those things. Well, I'm pretty horrible at guitar, but you know, I'm not that good. But even things that I might not be that bad at, I still wouldn't, you know, to use the quote here, acknowledge my excellence or superiority,
Yeah.
you know, because I think I know intuitively that the reason that I don't acknowledge my excellence or superiority is because I know that if I did that, then my mind would be no longer trying to improve, get better, and learn. And when you're not trying to improve, get better, and learn, then the perceived excellence and superiority would dissipate over time. So the minute that you say, oh yeah, I'm kind of the man at whatever the thing is, like if you think you're the man at jiu-jitsu, you stop training. If you think you're the man at guitar, you stop playing. Like if you think you're really good at something, you don't need to work as hard. And when you're not working as hard, then you're on the decline. So like this guy, it sounds like he's an awesome dude. Like sounds like he's kicking ass. The problem is if you acknowledge your excellence and superiority, some of the awesome things that you're doing right now, you might stop doing. And you might feel like, I'm good. I don't need to do this anymore. The other thing here is thinking that you're awesome can give off the vibes of insecurity, which is, I know it's a weird dichotomy, sort of like polar opposites. But look, as a dude, I'm just saying, as a 29-year-old dude, you don't want to appear insecure, right? Well, if you walk around with a feeling of superiority, the way that comes across to many people is it comes across as you're insecure about yourself because you're flexing. You know, you're walking around like I'm kick ass. And when people walk around like they're kick ass, it seems like they're insecure to me. People that are truly kick ass, they don't walk around like they're kick ass. They just are. And they have vibes like, oh, that guy seems pretty humble and mellow. And I bet he could kick ass. And he seems like a kick ass dude. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't, there's a bunch of, I'm trying to think of like a good example in a show of like someone that's just insecure, but they're acting hard, you know, for lack of a better word. It's kind of, it's the old tough guy, right? Somebody that's acting like a tough guy. Right. And whether it's they're acting like a tough guy, whether it's they're acting like a rich guy, whether it's they're acting like a strong guy or whatever the case may be, it's like, if you have to, the person that's like showing you their, like putting their Mercedes key on the desk, and or whatever, like the what, you know, like these little subtle flexes with the expensive thing or whatever. And it's like, you got to be. This dude seems a little bit insecure to me, you know. And some people like are legit. That's just how they are, and you can see that too. When someone's like, dude, this dude's just a rich person, or this person's just a badass, like, and they walk around like a badass because they are. Like, there's a few people like the highest level of these various categories. Like, okay, you know, like, okay, like if you see Gordon Ryan walking around at a jiu-jitsu tournament, like he's really good at jiu-jitsu, you're kind of like, yeah, cool. You know what I mean? Like, he's really good at jiu-jitsu. Yeah. If you walk around and you go to, you know, any type of scenario where there's a skill and you see the person that is the apex of that skill, you can walk around like you the apex of that skill, like, because you are. And you don't get the insecure vibes from people that are truly badass at something. You just get the vibes like, oh yeah, but that's like the apex of whatever that specific category is. You know, like, and then some people that are super chill, even though they're the apex, like Alex Honnold. But this guy is the apex best rock climber of all time. And dude, that guy's so chill, and you think even more of him because you're like, dude, this guy's the best at this thing. And he just, you know, but to me, you need to be like either Alex Honnold or someone directly in his orbit before you can walk around like you're a badass rock climber. Everybody else should be more chill. Or you got to be Gordon Ryan or someone directly in that orbit.
Yeah.
Or you got to be Michael Jordan or someone directly in that orbit before you walk around with that attitude, in my opinion. And that's only when you're walking around the basketball court. You look like you get a look on your face like I'm catching you off guard.
No. The more you're talking about, the more like I'm like, yeah, that's true. But then there's like this other part. So like, okay, go back to Gordon Ryan, for example. So I don't know Gordon Ryan. I met him one time in 2018 or 18, and I went and trained at Henzo's.
Okay.
And it was like...
Do you train with him?
No.
Okay.
But it was in the same class. It was like Gordon Ryan, Jake Shields was there, Tom DeBlas was there. I trained with Tom. Donaher was teaching. It was like the class. Yeah. And GSP was there.
Were you filming for a Metamorph or something like that?
I was at the Muster.
Oh, damn.
And I went and trained. Remember, we were there for a week. Filmed with Harley Flanagan. Yeah. Anyway, so I went over there and trained. And so Gordon Ryan, I was a new guy. Well, you know, I'm the new guy. I'm not part of the group. I was Henzo's like friend or whatever. And so everyone's like, oh yeah, they're saying hi. And Gordon Ryan was like, oh, hi. Like, nice. See what? And here's the thing. Like, I get it. I'm like, okay, in jiu-jitsu, this is a real thing, whether people want to admit it or not. When a guy with like muscles comes in, they're like fresh meat. It's like, who can tap out the muscle guy? I've dealt with that the whole time because whatever, I lift weights all the time. So, but not here. This was a very secure room of people.
Yeah. They didn't need to act like no tough guys.
Negative. Nope, not at all. Big guys, small guys. Some guys were bigger than me. Some guys were small. Nobody cared. Gordon Ryan, this was before he became super famous. He was already well known. He was super nice. He made it a point to say hi and bye. Like when we're leaving and stuff. So it's like, all these like famous guys, GSP or whatever, but they're still so nice to me, a stranger, by the way. Yeah. You know, some dude coming in with muscles, like what the hell, you know, kind of a thing. That's usually, or that could be the case. It wasn't like that. So it's like, but then now you contrast that with his attitude at the tournaments or on the video or whatever.
No, actually, I wasn't saying that he had a specific type of attitude. I said if he was to be like, hey, I'm awesome at this thing, you'd be like, well, yeah, you are.
Right.
And you, if you're a person that is the apex of a genre of activity, and that one person or two people or three people acts a certain way, you can be like, yeah, you know what? I get it. Michael Jordan, right? Like he's the best player at that time. He comes on the court. He can be like, yo, I'm the best. Caitlin Clark. You know who that is? She's a female basketball player, but she's just annihilating right now. Like no one can stop her.
Right. So
But I'm not saying any of these people walk. I guess you could say, okay, Michael Jordan walked around like that. Like when he came on the basketball court, you're like, hey,
right. But I
he's
feel
a
like,
badass.
and here was the point of the whole thing. I think that in their context of competition, where there is a hierarchy, and you gotta say this is a competition where you not only do you compete in your sport, but you're competing for that dominant position in the hierarchy. Everything, whether you're playing or not. See what I'm saying? Like most like high level like competitors will say that, where it's like you got to establish, you got to come in with that confidence. You got to do. So when it's time for the competition atmosphere, they're going to turn it on 100%. And yes, there will be a whole thing of superiority, the whole thing, but not in life.
Yeah,
so it's like,
and
like how you said from the beginning, it's like there's still an element of big element, by the way, of humility that comes along with them. See what I'm saying? So they're not like, I'm a better person than this person, unless it's part of some show, like Conor McGregor or something like this. But they don't come walking around necessarily saying like, I'm superior to this person in life or anything like that. That it has directly only to do with the competition. That's sort of it. Everything else is irrelevant, essentially. That's what it feels like. So yes, it's true, but it feels like, I can't read this guy's mind, the guy asking the question. It feels like he's asking something else.
So what do you think he's asking? He
Just
says, my
life.
question is this. How do you both stay so humble? Is it ever worth it to acknowledge your excellence and superiority? So I think I tried to answer that.
Yeah.
Which is, I think if you were to acknowledge your excellence and superiority, first of all, that is a claim that is not a good claim to make.
Right.
I really just don't think it is.
Because it's...
by the way, I don't feel excellence and superiority. I don't feel, hey, do I feel excellence in some aspects of my world? Yeah, but I don't feel superior. That's a big difference.
That's
excellence is like, hey, I'm good at this thing and I worked hard to get there. Okay, cool. I'm pretty good at it. I'm pretty good at kimuras. Like in jiu-jitsu, I'm like, I have pretty excellent guillotines.
Sure.
That's probably I might only be excellent at guillotines and chimeras. Like, you know what I mean? Like as far as just raw excellence.
Raw excellence, yeah. Hell
like in jiu-jitsu, that's it, dude. Like I'm not, there's a whole bunch of things that I'm like pretty good at, not too good at, suck at. Like there's a whole bunch of things. Right. So acknowledging excellence or superiority, broadly speaking, I think would indicate a little bit of a closed mind about where you actually are in the world.
Yeah.
Because if you're that good at stuff, then you should be totally dominant in this field. And if you're not, then okay, you got work to do.
So you said something very specific there where you said dominant and whether it be in this field or not. So I feel like this is in the spirit of analyzing what all this means. Feels like he's saying in life. That's what he's saying. Because it's like, look at all these fun skills that I have, essentially. And
hunting, shooting, lifting, woodworking, archery,
got into jiu-jitsu, like the whole deal. Like just as a person, I'm freaking superior. I'm a superior human being, like in life. That's the vibe. I can't read his mind or whatever. And I actually understand what he's saying. So, it's like, he kind of feels like he's sort of winning in life. But so I think the reason it doesn't check out, at the end of the day, when you consider like humility in general, is because, bro, you're not competing with everyone in life. But like, if you're talking about Michael Jordan, freaking Gordon Ryan, whatever, they are competing with someone in a very specific thing. Where now, if Gordon Ryan or Conor McGregor, we'll say, because he was kind of the king of being that arrogant kind of guy, but it was only in MMA. He wasn't going around saying, I'm better than you, cashier person. I'm better. He wasn't that guy. And if he was, no one would like that guy.
True.
See what I'm saying? And this is why. Because in life, you're not competing with people. In life. Like, hey, I'm competing with you, Jocko, how good my life is compared to you.
Because then we'd have to go, we don't even know what the game is.
Exactly right. It's not like that.
Because who's winning? Somebody that makes $500,000 a year, works really hard, and has a Mercedes, and has a house up in the mountains on a ski mountain, and goes skiing for 2 weeks, and has, goes to the restaurant every night. Is that person winning? Or is the person who makes $38,000 a year doing some online advertising from their van and they ski 180 days a year? Or jiu-jitsu, or surf, or rock climb, or play guitar,
or have a family,
you know,
help, like millions of people. Like,
yes, there's just no way to measure.
There's no competition in life, right? And not to mention that, which is the biggest point, which is there's no specific goal in life.
Yeah.
So how can there be any competition? So that being said, we know that. We already know that. Yeah. And this dawned on me freaking yesterday, actually, when I was walking. It was when I was walking. A guy pulled up at the stoplight and he peeled out. Mm-hmm. When the light turned green, peeled out. Guy looked kind of hostile or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I remember thinking to myself, why did he do that right there? Like, why did he just peel out all aggressively? He didn't have to do that. Mm-hmm. Maybe he was in a hurry. I don't know. But the look on his face was like, he was kind of flexing his car and his whatever. So you start to think, like, who's he competing with right there? Because the person behind him just pulled out normally. Mm-hmm. And the rest of the people on the side that went straight because he turned left or whatever, everyone went straight. They just went normally. Soccer mom went. Freaking some dude going to work just went. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, bro, who's that guy competing against? Like, why did he do that? See what I'm saying? But we do that all the time.
Yeah. See what I'm saying? There's a billion little flexes.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, and here's the thing: when you do it, and when people see it, it becomes kind of like, that air of superiority in one way or another that just doesn't fit in the context. Is, bro, we're living life over here. Good, bro. You're doing archery. Good, you're lifting. Hell yeah. But, bro, you what are you gonna do? Go to the store, go to the checkout, and be like, oh, I can deadlift more than this guy, bro. Nobody cares, bro.
Yeah. I remember we used to talk about ecosystems a lot, and how when you're in some ecosystem, like you can win in that ecosystem, and you go one millimeter outside that ecosystem, and literally no one gives a shit. Yeah. You're good at archery, cool. There's people that don't even when they think archery, they think of Robin Hood. Like, they'll be like, "What? People use bow and arrows? Like, still? What are you talking about?" Or fishing, or hunting, or lifting, or guitar. They're like, "Why would you get a guitar? You can get AI make whatever." Like, these are just things that people just don't even care about. Irrelevant. Or they're like, "Hey, I can play freaking Eruption by Eddie Van Halen, right?
Hell yeah.
I can play Eruption. And people are like, I don't know what that song is. And it can't be that hard. You know what I mean?
Can you play Eruption?
Hell no. You see what I'm saying though? Yeah, it's like you go outside the ecosystem. So feeling excellence and superiority is a waste. It really is. Be happy that you have the capability to learn new stuff. Because there's someone, like, if I was to tell you, like, hey, if this thing said, hey, listen, I'm also rather good at badminton, cribbage, knitting, and give me something other.
I don't know, freaking golf.
And golf, right? And this dude's like, I'm also good at cribbage. And people are like, bro, when you say you're good at lifting, there's some people you might as well be saying cribbage. That's how cool they think it is. Yeah. There's people that do not think being able to lift heavy weights is cool at all. Yeah. At all.
Yeah, kind of dumb actually.
Yeah, they're like, wow, what are you doing? Like, that's dumb. You're fat. Yeah. You know? No, those are muscles. Well, it just looks like you're bigger than a normal person, so you're fat. Yeah, just like whatever. So whatever ecosystems you're in, cool, man. Enjoy them, have fun, but don't let the skill in woodworking slip into your superior in life.
Yeah.
Because that's a bad way to go through life, man. Yeah. That will seep out in your interactions with people. The air of superiority will seep out when you interact with other people. And there's no one that's like thinks that's cool. No, I shouldn't say there's no one, but there's a small percentage of people that will be like impressed by that. But most people they'll just be turned off by it. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, Fred was cool. He thinks he's really cool. Fred's cool. Just ask him.
Yeah. There's an expression that in Hawaii when we were kids, mostly girls would say it, and it's nails. They used to call it nails, bro. That guy's nails. So the girls would say that mostly about guys, when the guy thinks that they're really cool and like so awesome or whatever, but they're really like almost like unilateral, like universally not cool. Mm-hmm. You know, like that. You know, like a guy who like, Yeah, they just think they're cool. But they're like, everyone thinks they're completely not cool. Has achieved nothing, not good at anything, but for some reason thinks they're cool. They call it nails, right? And I didn't really grasp what they meant, but I'm like, oh, okay, that's a good way to describe it, because I guess it's like a takeoff of nails on the chalkboard. They're just irritating, like just being around them are irritating because they think they're better, but they're so not. Like no one thinks that you're superior. This person is superior. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Even though they do. So I think when you start to think about that, like, oh, bro, you don't want to be nails, bro. Bro, you better freaking not be nails.
Be humble, dude. That's what we got. That is a little excerpt of what we are doing on the Jocko Underground podcast. So if you want to continue to listen, go to jockounderground.com and subscribe. And we're doing this to mitigate our reliance on external platforms so we are not subject to their control. And we're doing it so we can give you more control, more interaction, more direct connections, better communications with us, strengthen this legion of troopers that are in the game with us. So thank you. It's jockounderground.com. It costs $8.18 a month. And if you can't afford to support us, we can still support you. Just email assistance@jockounderground.com and we'll get you taken care of. Until then, we will see you mobilized underground.